Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over part 9 of a very, very popular series that I was doing back in the summertime over June and July, which was titled, Wife Manipulated Husband into an Open Relationship and He Manipulated Her into the Ultimate Divorce. And guys, as I said before, that story was going on during June and July. Many of you guys saw it, very popular. And as a quick recap, and I do mean quick, that's all about the guy who was married to his wife for a number of years. I believe he's in his early to mid-30s. His wife, Ava. And as it turns out, he discovered that Ava was quite the train wreck, particularly a serial cheater, liar, manipulator, all that type of thing. And she tried to get into an open relationship after one night she brought home a friend of hers from work to sleep over. They were drinking, I think doing some substances, and then having a threesome. And that's all she needed to do to get her husband to try to get what she wanted. And long story short, everything spiraled out of control, where he then realized he had the power. He was going to divorce her, had dirt on her, all that. And all of a sudden she became the perfect angel trying to get him back. But he knew it was never going to work. She was garbage, all that. Particularly aided by this so-called friend of hers named Kathy. And basically Kathy moved in with them, and he's banging her, and the wife is doing anything to get in his good graces again, to not divorce her, but secretly is planning to divorce her. And it was this never-ending saga of all the people involved in the story. It was drama central. There's also the guy named Roger who was banging this dude's wife, and he was a low life who loved to hook up with married women and make their husbands into bitches, all that type of thing. And this guy got his ass whooped by an angry husband, put in the hospital, busted for drug charges. It was a mess. And if you guys follow the story, you all remember it. Now what we're having here is an update as to what's going on in this guy's life, because he's about to finalize the divorce with her, and letting me know what's going on with all the people in this particular story. And I'll admit, I was kind of curious because I figured that was the end of it, so who knows, but he stuck to his word. He's darn near close to the divorce. So, jumping into it, and by the way, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go back and watch the other parts and you'll see what I'm talking about. Hours of entertainment. So, his adventure continues on saying, hello SSM. It's been a while, last July, since I sent an update about Ada, Kathy, and me. I thought if anybody remembers my story, they might be interested in what is happening lately. So here's the latest on the three of us, and news on Roger and the husband who took Roger's balls away and put him in the hospital. Even though I haven't been in touch, I've been watching SSM's videos faithfully. It's nice to have a community where you can find people who are experiencing similar problems with unfaithful wives and have the support of SSM and his viewers. That's why we're here, for entertainment as well as support. Those of you who haven't experienced cheating wives and who don't know how important the community is, who had cheating wives. He says, SSM, get ready for some smacks. Some of this you're not going to like, but nothing too bad, I think. I know you and your viewers will let me know what you think. Bro, you can most certainly count on the guys in this community to let you know what they think. As a quick recap, my name is Jerry, and my wife I'm divorcing is Ada. We're both 32 years old. We were married in 2016. We don't have any kids. Kathy's 27, is Ada's workmate and roommate. Last spring, Kathy began living with Ada and me. Ada manipulated Kathy and me into an S-word relationship because Ada wanted an open marriage. She brought her boyfriend Roger home to sex in front of me. Since I was sleeping with Kathy, Ada thought I could not object to her hooking up with Roger. Yeah, she set you up for that one, man. I did object. I threw Roger out of my home and Ada followed him out. When Ada returned the next day, she was contrite and wanted to stay in the marriage at any cost. I told her I'd give her 45 days to convince me to reconcile. Her cost for those 45 days was her signing a divorce agreement completely favorable to me. No alimony, she gets none of my assets. She also had to quit her job and tell her parents in detail about her infidelity. Yeah, man, you handled that well. Ada would sleep in the spare bedroom, Kathy would remain in my bed, and Ada agreed to it all. Here, that was the insane part, that Ada and Kathy were friends, frenemies, worked together, living in the same house, kind of like the Big Brother show. You were recording them secretly, and you got to find all the dirt about Ada through Kathy. And meanwhile, you're banging Kathy. It was just crazy, but Ada was doing anything to not get divorced. During those 45 days, Kathy got Ada to confess to multiple affairs over the years, including with her boss, Andy. I installed recording equipment, so all the details about those affairs are recorded. Ada has never been faithful to me. Talk about a mess. I'm sorry it happened to you, my man, but at least you handled it right. Somehow Ada was just not able to convince me to stay married. I told Ada she had to leave when those 45 days were up. She left. Kathy, who'd been living with us, also moved out and is living with Ada. They work at the same place, share the same clients, and are happy working together. I'm living with my dog, Charlie. How the hell, and I wondered this before and I wondered again, are Ada and Kathy all on speaking terms? That's the part that I just do not get. I get they're nuts, but still. In my state, the waiting period for divorce is 6 months. That 6 months is now coming to an end. Our divorce should be finalized in January 2024 at the latest. But I'm sure Ada will do her damnedest to screw it up. It is now December 2023. Here's the update. Well, the countdown is on, my man. It is December 10th today, so we shall see how this goes. The update is Ada finally realized that there was no chance in hell we would reconcile. She got a lawyer. The lawyer called my attorney wanting to reopen the divorce settlement. In the current divorce settlement, I get everything, and Ada gets nothing. My attorney asked why we would consider reopening the settlement. Ada's attorney said Ada signed it thinking I would seriously consider reconciling. I think I told you that was going to happen. I never intended to reconcile. I didn't hold up my end of the settlement. It is null and void. My attorney said we're not reopening anything. Ada knew going in that there was very little chance we'd reconcile. She wasn't forced to sign anything. She gambled and lost, so she's crying foul. The divorce agreement is with the court on an active docket. A judge will sign it sometime this month or in January. Ada and I will be divorced. My attorney told her attorney if they want to protest the settlement, go ahead. They will lose. I will just delay the inevitable, or it will just delay the inevitable. That's where the attorneys left it. We were waiting to see what Ada will do. Yeah, well, I'm surprised her attorney's thinking, hey, whatever, I'll still get paid. Think about that one. He'll stir up some shit, drag it out. Hey, the billable hours will rack up. Ada will pay him, you know. Ada is not interested in reconciliation anymore. She's been seeing one of her clients in September, a very wealthy man about 15 years older than we are. Of course she is. She's still early 30s. She better find a sucker, the next victim to milk for all it's worth before she gets any older. We will call him Nick. Dating a client is a real no-no, but bad idea to date your clients. If something goes wrong with the relationship, if the client gets pissed, he might take his money and walk. Dating a client is a firing offense. Ada's boss and former lover Andy doesn't know Ada's dating Nick. That's right, she was hooking up with her boss. Shocker. I heard all this from Kathy. Nick is also one of my company clients, spreading his money around. I looked up his account. I'm not his account manager. I wish I was. Mega bucks. Kathy says that Ada's spending a lot of time with this guy. She's always with Nick, weekends, getaways, almost every night. Nick's smitten with Ada. Kathy doesn't know what to do. Nick is Kathy's client as well. Ada and Kathy share all their clients, work with them together. If the guy gets mad and then leaves the firm, it will be a big hit money-wise for Kathy. If Andy finds out and tells Ada to cut off, who knows what Ada will do. Or what Nick will do. Kathy thinks Ada is planning to marry Nick after a divorce is final. If Andy makes a stint about Ada seeing Nick, Nick could take his money and put it elsewhere. He doesn't need Kathy's firm. It's a mess. Of course it's a mess. That's what these girls know. They thrive on drama. Does Nick know about Ada's past? Kathy shrugged. Nick knows she's divorcing. Ada didn't tell me about Roger, Andy, the guy with the big package, or the cop she cheated on me with. Kathy paused and said, well, she didn't tell me about Roger. Bringing him home so I could watch them hook up was telling me something. But Ada's not going to tell Nick about any of that. She'd be crazy too. I told Kathy I see Nick occasionally in the hallway when he visits our firm. Should I grab him and have a conversation about my marriage to Ada? He deserves to know about her, and your firm won't be involved if he breaks it off with Ada. No reason to get angry at you. I'm just the husband giving him a heads up about who he's getting involved with. I think on the one hand, as a guy doing another guy a big favor. On the other hand, well, if your ex, Ada, is going to have this cash cow, she's less likely to make your life difficult in the divorce settlement. So you could say, I could say something, but that might impact her trying to get more of my shit. I don't know. I mean, your lawyer thinks everything's ironclad, but still, that's up to you. I told Kathy I see Nick. I read that part. Kathy said that he might create problems for my divorce. Kathy thinks Ada has moved on and won't protest the divorce. She's already on to her future with big bucks Nick. She won't need alimony or anything else from me. The sooner the divorce, the sooner she can marry Nick. If Nick dumps her because of what I tell him, Ada's not going to take that lying down. So that's what I thought. She won't have an incentive to get the divorce over with. And since she'll no longer have Nick's money to look forward to, she'll want me to pay, and she'll make my life a living hell. That's what I thought, man. That's a tough position to put yourself in. On the other hand, this Nick guy, if he's got money, he ought to be having a PI dig up dirt on her, find out everything. So if he doesn't do his due diligence on her, one can argue that's kind of on him, especially when he has so much to lose. Kathy said losing Nick's cat would hurt, but my divorce was more important. Getting the divorce done, Ada will be out of my life. I can tell Nick about Ada then. We decided to think about what to do. They can't marry until after Ada and I divorce. I can tell him about Ada after our divorce is done. Kathy's been living with Ada since I asked them both to leave last summer. Kathy and I have remained friends. Define friends, amigo. Well, more than just friends. I guess the most accurate description is that we're dating or friends with benefits. I warned you about her. I know she comes off as cool and fun, and she definitely, her there helped you during the chaos that was your life, and I get the pain you went through, but it's not a good situation. I said that on all other parts of the series, and I'm saying it again. Guys in the comment section, all the other parts, I had guys that agree with me, and I had guys that disagree with me. That's just how it is. We see each other a few times a week, so Kathy and I continue to spend time together. Here's what I think about Kathy. Besides the obvious reasons to be with Kathy, she will not cheat on me. Okay. Dude, after all this shit, that's what you're saying? I don't mean to be an asshole, but come on here, man. Her mother cheated continuously on her father. She saw the damage it caused. Her father's life was shattered. She won't be responsible for hurting someone like that. If she wants to be with someone else, she'll tell me that she's moved on and won't do it behind my back. That's nice and all to hear, and I hope that's true. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do, man. Seriously, I really do, but I just don't think I am. I also believe that Kathy has been honest with me. She should have told me about Ada and Roger before Roger came over to my house to F my wife. Kathy did tell me about Roger in time to get me back in my place before Ada and Roger got the chance to hop into my bed together. Well, they were already hopping in the bed together before that even happened. Almost everything I know about Ada's past boyfriends is due to Kathy. She pried out of Ada in their private talks. Kathy knew I was recording them, but Ada did not. Kathy believes that cheaters should be completely honest and forthcoming about their adultery. The spouse should know it all and then decide what he or she wants to do about it. She knew Ada would never come clean about her serial cheating, so Kathy got Ada to come clean in their talks. Ada didn't know she was being recorded until I told her and knew about all her lovers and her lies. Well, I guarantee you that Kathy didn't get everything out of Ada. There's no amount of recording equipment in the world, enough storage to store all the lies and bullshit that Ada has locked up in that closet of skeletons she has. Like a lot of women, Kathy likes drama. Gee, no shit. She agreed to live with us because Ada told her that we were in open marriage. Ada made sure that Kathy and I hooked up. Kathy figured if Ada didn't mind and I wanted to hook up, Kathy was not going to object. Ada thought that if Kathy and I slept together, Ada would have the justification to see other guys. Talk about a sneaky plan, and they played you like a fiddle in that part. Instead, it led to our divorcing. Kathy stayed on with us because she was fond of me, but my guess is she also liked the drama. She not only had a front row seat, but she also was involved in everything exciting. And that is why, among many reasons, why I tell you that she's not girlfriend material. But it's your life, man. I trust Kathy at a time when trusting anyone was very hard for me. Unless she does something to take away my trust, she and I are good for now. Anyway, that's why I'm okay with being with Kathy. For now, we are dating, neither of us pushing for more. If Kathy comes and tells me she's moving on, I'll be sad, but I'll kiss her goodbye and tell her to have a nice life. Well, I'm sure you'll fuck her a few times and tell her to have a nice life, but okay. I'll never be in a relationship again with a woman who doesn't want me at least as much as I want her. She's going to have to work and think about my wants and needs first to keep me. Amen. Good for you. I don't see a downside to being with Kathy now. Please let me know what I'm missing. Well, what you're missing is that you start going from kind of a indifferent attitude where you could take her or leave her. I mean, you like her, but I mean, still you're indifferent, to falling in love with her. And then you start making all the mistakes slowly but surely that guys make when they fall in love with it. She becomes the object of your affection, and then you start making the mistakes. The next thing you know, you get my point. That's the danger by seeing her and hooking up with her and all that, in spite of knowing these various things that I warned you about. But your life. Also in September, Kathy told me about that her ex was coming to see her. He waits for her at work, or shows up at the bar she goes to with coworkers after work. He wants to talk. He's getting more and more pushy. Kathy said she thinks she should go to dinner with him, tell him about me, and see what he has to say. I told her seeing him sounded like a good idea. She can finally decide she wants to get back with him or cut him off. I'm not going to stand in the way if Kathy wants to be with him or someone else. More drama. She agreed to dinner with him the following Saturday, 7 p.m. About 8 p.m., I just finished walking Charlie. Kathy opened my front door and came in. I asked her how it went. How do you think it went? In 1 hour? Probably not good. She said it was very unpleasant, but at least she thinks her ex will stop bothering her. What happened? Her ex wants to get back together. She told him she lived with me most of last summer and that we're still seeing each other. She did not want to give me up. Her ex blew up. Started yelling, calling Kathy names. He knew all along she was cheating on him. The manager at the restaurant asked him to leave. He stormed off. Kathy came here. Well, if they weren't together, then she wasn't cheating on him. Unless there's something I'm missing here. Kathy said he wanted to know who I was. She didn't tell me. She didn't tell him. She said if he wants to find out who I am, he might come after me. I told her I'm not worried about her ex. I met him when he and Kathy and I had lunch. Ada and me. He's nothing to worry about. Well, anybody can be someone to worry about if they're pushed too far and can get a weapon. So keep that in mind. And guess what, my friend? Didn't you say earlier how Kathy loves the drama? Well, now you're caught up in some drama. You see what I'm talking about here? Right? Kathy says she's done with him. If he continues to stalk her, she'll call the cops. But she thinks he'll stop bothering her. His ego can't take it that Kathy was not pining over him, and even though that they agreed to end their relationship last spring. Kathy and I decided that the only thing left to do that night was to hit the sack. I'm sure you did. After her dinner with her ex, Kathy stopped going to the bar that her coworkers frequent after work. I asked if she's concerned about her ex showing up at the bar. Andy, her boss and a regular at the bar after work, told Kathy that her ex came to the bar asking about Kathy's current boyfriend. What's my name? Where do I work? Where do I live? Ada, still regular at the bar after work, told him it was me and where I work and live. Of course Ada did. Kathy told me to be careful. Her ex has a temper. I asked her if her ex and Ada hooked up. Kathy said Andy told her that Ada left the bar with the ex. Same old Ada. Oh my God. Be careful. I hope your cameras are out and about. I hope you take measures to protect yourself. And ask yourself, is this broad worth it? Her ex is waiting for me at my job on Monday later that September. We recognize each other because the four of us ate lunch together when he and Kathy were still together. He came up to me and told me to leave Kathy alone. He's her boyfriend. I'm nothing to Kathy. If I don't stop bothering Kathy, trying to break them up, he'll punch my lights out. Oh, how nice. You made a threat to do bodily harm to me. Now I have a reason to make a police report. I'll tell him I'll continue to see Kathy as long as we both want to see each other. If he wants a fight, I'm right here. Let's see what he's got. His face turned dark. He was fuming, but he's not going to fight me. He told me he's not going to get arrested now for beating the crap out of me, but I should watch my back. More threats. He's coming after me. I told Kathy's ex to get lost. He's not going to do anything. After a big talker like Roger, all hat, no cattle. I haven't heard from him since. Kathy says since she hasn't heard from him either. That doesn't mean he can't go get a weapon, my friend. You better be careful. I would report this to the cops. Roger and the husband who put him... Roger, who's the douchebag that was banging Ava, who bangs a lot of married women. Roger and the husband who put him in the hospital have dropped out of the news. I heard nothing more from the husband's attorney since I called him offering to testify against Roger. I asked Kathy if she heard anything about Roger from the guy who lives in Roger's apartment building. She told me he no longer works at her company. She's heard nothing either. I always look for updates about them, but the news has moved on to more current atrocities. Roger and the husband are old news. Remember, Roger was the chick that was banging his wife, total scumbag. He has a history of banging married women. And this one husband supposedly beat the living crap out of him with a object. And that object destroyed his object. And he's been in the hospital. But when the cops got there, they found all sorts of illegal substances. So that guy's under arrest in the hospital, whatever that is. Probably in the hospital bed with handcuffs on. And, well, it's a mess. And it could have happened to a nicer guy. I finally decided to call the husband's attorney again. I'll tell him I want to know if I'll be called to testify against Roger. I'll see if he'll tell me the latest about Roger and the husband. I called the lawyer, left a message, and he called me back. He was as forthcoming as he was in our first conversation. The lawyer told me that Roger is still in the jail infirmary recuperating. He's still shuttling back and forth from the hospital for surgeries. Roger couldn't or didn't want to make bail. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for Roger's medical care. But they're telling Roger that he'll be put in general population soon. That guy ain't gonna last a day. Oh. The last thing Roger wants. So Roger has some decisions to make. Going in the general population with a bunch of guys who will not be very friendly or make bail and pay his own health care out of pocket. Roger lost his health insurance after he was fired from the company Kathy and Ada worked for. He never got his own health insurance. His attorney is fighting his transfer out of the infirmary, but sooner or later Roger will be put on general population or have to come up with the bail money. How is Roger doing health-wise? His balls were destroyed and could not be saved. They're gone. His schlong is in the process of reconstruction. They're not sure how much functionality he'll have. They're hoping he'll be able to piss without a catheter and in a bag attached to his leg. The lawyers continued, whoever attacked Roger did a lot of damage. And if you all recall how much of a scumbag this guy is, I don't feel bad for him. That's justice served. But that's me. I thought, whoever attacked Roger, what is he talking about? The husband, his client, attacked Roger. The legal case against Roger had ecstasy, crack, and powder cocaine in his apartment. He is going down for that. Some of the wives that he was seeing will testify that he was pushing the drugs on them. None will admit that they were pimped out by Roger. The lawyer chuckled. They must have all been volunteers. No pimping charges against Roger. He'll be tried for the drugs. What about the husband who took the bat to Roger? The attorney said it wasn't the husband. There's only one witness to Roger's attack, Roger. And Roger only saw his attacker for a few seconds before he was knocked unconscious. He never saw the husband before he appeared at Roger's door. Roger claims it was the husband who attacked him, but Roger will be discredited on the stand. He has more things to worry about when he was being hit with a bat and studying the attacker's face. And Roger was out cold for a few seconds. Roger's just saying it was the husband because the husband's wealthy. Roger is suing the husband, hoping for a big payday. Oh my God. Good luck. The husband's wife was in the room when Roger was attacked, but will testify that she was too drugged out to remember anything about the attack. She had nodded off and didn't see anything until her husband yanked her up and marched her out of the room. Roger was on the floor unconscious, and she assumed that her husband was responsible, but she didn't see the assault. Okay, no witnesses against Roger, and Roger's not exactly a very credible individual. The husband's fingerprints are on the bat because he moved it off of Roger's body after he entered Roger's apartment and found Roger unconscious on the floor. There were other unknown fingerprints on the bat. The police couldn't find anyone who saw the husband bringing a bat to Roger's. The guy next door, who heard this wife screaming and called the cops, only saw the husband dragging a naked woman, his wife, out of the apartment. He didn't witness the attack either. So, who attacked Roger? Maybe some other husband, maybe Roger's drug supplier, maybe a drug customer. Roger has lots of enemies. There isn't the evidence to prove the husband did it beyond a reasonable doubt, but it was a big news story and could be again if the DA drops the charges. So the DA is concerned about his image. The attorney said he's trying to get the DA to settle for a misdemeanor offense, creating a public disturbance where the husband walked his naked wife out of Roger's apartment down to the parking lot. There were lots of witnesses to that. The DA is mulling that over. The DA has no case. He'll undoubtedly but quietly settle for a misdemeanor plea. Well, these DAs always want to make names for themselves, but if they can't get anything, then it's better to get something than nothing. But if the DA decides to go to trial, they don't want to leave it to the jury. They're negotiating with Roger's attorney to get Roger to drop the charges and abandon his lawsuit against the husband. The surgeries are more spaced out now. Roger will be put in general population while waiting for his next surgery. Oh man, I'd love to see him in general population. Oh. Roger doesn't want to spend any time in general population. But if he goes for bail, he'll have to come up with the money to pay for his medical care. They've offered Roger the deal that the husband will pay for parts of his medical care if Roger drops the charges in the lawsuit. The husband won't admit to doing anything to Roger. Roger won't remember who attacked him, but Roger wants the drug charges against him dropped as well. The DA's office wants to try Roger for the drugs. The husband doesn't want to give Roger a penny. So the negotiations are on hold until the DA decides what to do about the charges against the husband. They won't need Roger if the DA drops it down to a misdemeanor. The attorney believes that the misdemeanor charges is where this will end up. What is going to happen to the wife? The husband and wife are still living together. They'll have to wait to see what happens. They'll need her if there is a trial. While she's still useful, she needs to stay put. She's staying put because she thinks she can persuade her husband to take her back. Fat chance, honey. This guy be an idiot to take her back. Nothing happens with the wife until they know what happens with the husband's charges. The attorney told me he couldn't say any more about the wife. He concluded that I should not worry about the husband. One way or another, he'll be okay. He's not going to jail. The DA has nothing more than a circumstantial case. His case is that he, the DA, will finally reduce the charges against the husband, and the husband will walk. The husband will pay a fine and or get community service at worst. That'll be it. If the DA wants to be a hard ass, there's still a deal to be made with Roger. And if the DA knows that, he'll look like a fool if he brings charges and his only witness, Roger, says he doesn't know who attacked him. The DA will end up dropping all the felony charges against the husband. So I asked, the probable outcome is that the husband will get off with a slap on the wrist while Roger has no balls, a damaged package, and may end up doing jail time. Yes, that's what the attorney thinks will happen. Karma. Well, that's pretty funny. I mean, that guy deserves it. End of story. He was a piece of shit to the 1,000,000th degree. And I don't feel bad for that motherfucker at all. But anyhow, guys, as we're many minutes into the story, that is the end of part 9. I'll be doing part 10 with a real update on what's going on with the main players in this story in a couple hours. Don't scream at me. This is like the 3rd video I've done today, and that'll be the 4th. We're making up for a few days. I've been doing some things the last few days. I missed some videos in SSM, so I'm making them all up today here on a Sunday. This is my gift to you. So come back in a couple hours. You'll see more what is going on with our guy here and his women. It's definitely entertaining. I'll see you then.